So we are continuing to study Tattva Sandarbha. This is continuation of Mangalacharan. So in this third verse, Sri Jīva Gosvāmī, he prays to his teachers, Sri Rupa Gosvāmī and Sanatana Gosvāmī. Jaitam mathura bhumo Srila Rupa Sanatano yo vilekhetas tattvam gyapakau pustikam imam. All glories to Srila Rupa and Sanatana Goswāmis who reside in the land of Mathura. They have engaged me in writing this book to broadcast the essential truth regarding Bhagavan. So somebody may ask, why are you writing this book? Who are you? Right? Many times people say, why are you writing this book? So he says, I am writing on the order of Sri Rupa Gosvāmī and Sanatana Gosvāmī. And the purpose is Tattva Gyapaka. So they are, of course, Tattva Gyapaka as Rupa and Sanatana here. So Vilekhetas Tattvam Gyapakau Pustikam Ima. So they are the Gyapaka, they are the one who have the knowledge about the Tattva, and they asked him to write this for the benefit of others. And that is the nature of saintly people. Krishna comes to establish dharma. As he says, dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. And dharma sanstapana is through education, because that is the only difference between a dharmic person and a dharmic, that one has the knowledge, understanding, and follows that. And the other person may not have understanding or has understanding but does not follow. Either case. So first thing is that we have to know the Tattva. Janati ichhati karoti. When we have knowledge, then we may have the desire to follow it, and then we may follow ultimately. Our actions depend on our knowledge. If our knowledge is not clear or has misconceptions, then our actions will also be based on that. So if our understanding is not clear, then our actions will be wrong, and then we cannot expect proper result, because result comes from the action. So if we want proper result, which we want, right? Anybody who does not want proper result? So if we want proper result, we have to have proper action. Right? Logic, start from that side. Make 5 steps. And if you have proper action, then for that you have to have proper knowledge. Right? And to have proper knowledge, you have to study. And you have to study proper Shastra. So this is the root cause of corruption in the society. That people don't study. But everybody thinks that I know, because nobody wants to think that I don't know. Because that is the nature of the soul. Right? It is conscious being, so it cannot think that it is in ignorance. So that we superimpose onto our material mind and we think I know. So nobody likes to think that I don't know. So because if you don't know and you know that you don't know, then you are in trouble. Then you have to do something about it. So mostly people, they don't know, and they don't know that they don't know. And that is the cause of the problem. And the worst is that they don't know that they don't know, and they think that they know. So that is one step worse than that. Because that is incurable disease. If you don't know and you don't know that you don't know, then somebody can tell you that you don't know. But when you don't know that you don't know, but you think you know, then nobody can cure you. Just like they say that you cannot wake up a person who is actually awake, but feigning sleep. If somebody is actually sleeping, you can wake him up. So this is the situation in the society. So our Goswamis, they worked hard. Rupa and Sanatan, they were told by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to do this job, and they passed the order further down to Jīva Gosvāmī to write. So it is actually our duty, if we call ourselves as Rupa Anuga, Jiva Anuga, whatever Anuga, then we should read their books. If we don't read their books, we are not any Anuga, because how can we be Anuga without knowing what they want or what is their understanding of Tattva? So therefore it is everybody's duty to study this. Because he says that he is writing under the order of Rupa Gosvāmī and Sanatana Gosvāmī. So if you want to be a Rupa Anuga, you have to study Sandarbhas. So he is remembering them before writing the book naturally. Everybody remembers their teachers, is grateful to them, and he studied from them. But in this, he specifically is praying to them because they asked. He is basically saying that I am not. He is trying to be humble basically. Don't think that I am not thinking that I am so great that I can do this job. But I am doing it because I have been asked to do. That is the intention in writing this. And then in the next verse, he remembers Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Kopi tad bandhavo bhatto dakshina dvija vansajaha vivichya likhad grantham likhitad vriddha vaishnavaihi. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, a friend of Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatana, born in South Indian Brahmin family, compiled the original version of this book after extracting the essence from the words of ancient Vaishnava masters. So he is acknowledging the help which he has taken from the work of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. He is not mentioning his full name, but saying some Bhatta, Kopi Tad Bandhavo. So he is calling him as friend of Sri Rupa and Sanatana because they were like family members. They were very intimate. And this is the greatest pleasure in society when you can find somebody with whom you can relate heart to heart. You don't have any anxiety that if I say this, what this person will think, or if he comes to know about my this problem, how he will take advantage of it. So usually when you are speaking with somebody, you are always careful not to tell everything. You reveal something and something you keep yourself. But when you have people like these Goswamis, so they were very open because there was nothing to hide. And there was so much intimacy that there was no need to hide. They may also hide from other people. It's not necessary that a sadhu is also telling everything to everybody. But when there is intimacy, when there is love, then you speak and it is a great pleasure this is one of the pleasures, to communicate openly. So, therefore he says that he is a bandhava. Usually, nobody likes bandhava. We always talk, this is attachment. Right? Should give up family attachment. Ye dara, gara, putra, aptan, vihaya. All this giving up wife, family, children. These are called bandhavas. But this is another type of bandhava which is desirable. This is a type of bondage we would like to have. We hear a lot about giving up bondage. But giving up does not mean that now you become without any bondage. We actually like to have bond. So that bondage is called sambandha. There is bandhan and sambandha. So sambandha means nice, good bond. So that is when there is a loving relationship. That is the pleasure of heart. So says Kopi tad bandhavo bhatra dakshina dvija vansaja. So is Sri Gopal Bhatt, their friend, their relative. So he says that he has written a book, Vyalikhat Grantham, after much deliberation from the teachings of Vriddha Vaishnavas, and Jīva Gosvāmī himself mentions that this refers to Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Sridhar Swami. In Sarva Samvadini he mentions this. So this is also to indicate that these teachings are based on the acharyas or teachings of the previous acharyas, and not just something which he is making it out himself. So it's to show the authenticity of the work. And then the question comes that if this book was already written, then why is he writing again? What is the need? If Sri Gopal Bhatta has already written a work like this, so what is the again need? Is it lost? Or was it not completed? Or at most you can comment on it, why write? So he gives the reason for that. He says, Tasyadyam granthana lekham kranta vitkranta khanditam paryalochath paryayam kritva likhati jivakaha. So he says that his original writing was kranta vitkrant khanditam. So kranta means order, that some things were in order, and vitkrant means some were not in order, and khanditam means incomplete. Some things were just not complete. So this is not very clear what exactly he got from him, because there is nothing which is available at present. So whether it was a complete book or it was just he started it but did not complete, or it was some sort of notes, we do not know. Of course, if you hear from Srivats Goswami, actually I wanted to invite him, but he was out. I don't know if he has returned. So he will speak a lot on this. So he says that he actually wrote the whole thing, but it does not look like, at least from this. So definitely Jīva Gosvāmī acknowledges him, and he acknowledges this in every Sandarbha. So definitely he doesn't want to appropriate somebody's work and then propagate it in his own name, but he is acknowledging that he has taken something which makes the base for his own work. And very clearly he says, Paryayam kritva likhati jivka, that Jiva is writing this. So it's certainly not that it's just Gopal Bhatt Goswami's work. Otherwise he would not say this word likhati, that I am writing this. So paryalochayath paryayam kritva likhati jivaka. So he says that paryalocha means that he has gone through this. Tasyadya adyam granthana lekham, that whatever books Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami wrote, so he has studied that. That is the meaning of paryalocha. And then after studying, then he is writing this in a proper order. So certainly the book which was available to him was not very orderly, as is clear from this statement and clear from Vyatkranta, disorder. So he takes that as the basis and then writes it down. So he calls himself a Jivaka. Sometimes you see this in their writing, they write Rupaka, Jivaka, that is out of great humility and also using the third person, that Jiva is writing this instead of saying I am writing this. So this is mark of humility. Otherwise one may think that this book is written by somebody else, some other Jivaka wrote it. So now he writes a very interesting sloka after this. After explaining that why he is writing it and what is the source of his writing, then he explains for whom he is writing. Because in the beginning, in the Mangalacharan, there is 4 things are described, which are called Anubandha Chatushtaya. So one of them is Adhikari, or the person, audience. Any author, when he or she writes, then they have some audience in mind to whom they are catering. So he also has some audience in his mind. And he also has some people who are not part of his audience. So he wants to tell these guys, don't touch my book. This is very strange. Usually you will see that I am writing this book for so and so people, and that's it. But he's saying I am writing this book for so and so people, and those who don't fit this, they should not read my book. So he makes this statement, Yah Krishna Padam Bhoja Bhajnaika Vilasavan Tenaive Drishyatametad Anyasmai Shakatorpitaha. So he says that a person who has only one desire, Krishna Bhajnaika Abhilashavan, that if your one desire, Eka means one, or Eka also means prime, supreme, that your only desire is to worship Krishna, or your primary desire is to worship Krishna, then such a person can see my book or read my book. Tenaive drishyatam etad. And if that is not your desire, he says, better keep away from this. Don't waste your time. Don't make this book as subject of your PhD. No need to do that, because you will not understand. So, what is the significance? Is he scared that people will find defect with it? No, that he is not afraid like that. But what he is indicating is that this book is not meant just for getting scholarship. This book is meant to put in your own life, practice, and make your life successful. Jīvasya tattva jigyāsa nārtho yasceha karmani. So this book is actually meant to fulfill that tattva jigyāsa, that tathato brahma jigyāsa, for which Vedanta Sutra were composed by Vyāsa. This book will actually fulfill that better than Vedanta Sutra. So he says that you have to dive into it and take it into your life, and then only you will understand it. Otherwise you will not understand. And if you will not understand, then what is the point in reading it? You are wasting your time. What kind of research will you do if you don't understand? After all, researching something means you have to understand the subject. So what he is saying is that if your desire is not to be a devotee of Krishna, then you will not get it. So he is being compassionate so that you don't waste your time. Then better go and watch TV or watch some football match. Why waste your effort here? You are not going. Of course, you may get PhD, but you are not going to get what he wants you to get. So he is not making this effort just to give you some theoretical knowledge. And that's why he wrote these 6 books, where first 4 are theoretical and then 5th is practice. Because once you have knowledge, then action, and then result, right? So 3 things he says, that there is sambandha, abhidheya and prayojana. So sambandha is knowledge, abhidheya is action, prayojana is outcome. So you want outcome, you have to practice. You want practice, you have to have knowledge. So if you are aligned with these 3 things, then this is the book to be studied. But if you are not aligned with this, if you only want knowledge, so what he is saying is that actually you will not get it. You will not understand it. And it is very true. Because this book is not just word, one of the things which is described in Anubandha Chatushtaya is sambandha, and that sambandha is the relationship between Vishaya and Vishayi. Now you know what is Vishaya? What is Vishaya? Content of knowledge, and Vishayi. So here the meaning is different. That is in Nyaya. Here Vishaya is the subject of knowledge, and Vishaya is the book. So the relationship between this book and the subject. So usually this relationship is what you call as word and its meaning. And this is called, that word indicates, it's a referent. Right? They have the word and it has its referent. But here it is not like that. This is the big difference. As it will become clear even reading Tattva Sandarbha, here this word itself is the subject. The Shabda and Artha are not 2 different things. And therefore you will not get the Shabda if you don't want the Artha. If you try to separate these 2 things, that you only want the knowledge, but not the subject of knowledge, you won't get that knowledge. Because you can't cut it into 2 pieces. You understand? This is a very big difference. So just, we all know that there is no difference between the name and one whose name is this. Krishna and Krishna's name, there is no difference. Exactly the same thing here. These sandarbhas are non-different from the subject which is being described here. So if you are not interested in subject, and what is the subject? It is Krishna. So if you are not Krishna bhajnaik abhilashavan, then you won't get it. This is what he is trying to say. And he is making it very clear in the beginning so that you don't think later on, I wasted my time. So he says, yes, Sri Krishna padam bhoja bhajnaik abhilashavan tenaiva drishyataam etad anyasmai shapato arpitaha. So shapatha means that to others I am actually giving a vow that don't touch it. It's like when Ravana came to kidnap Sita. So Ram went after the golden deer, which doesn't exist anywhere. But even Ram was fooled because he did not study Nyaya. If he had studied Nyaya, I tell you, he would not make that mistake. Because how can there be golden deer? So he made the mistake because of not studying Nyaya. And then what was the result? He lost his wife. And then he has to be in big problem for that. So then when he ran after this golden deer, and then the deer turned into Marich, because he was friend of Ravana, and before dying he said, "Oh Lakshman." So then Lakshman went and he put a rekha, one line in front of the kutir, the hut, and told Sita, "Don't come out of it." So that was like a shapatha. He says that I am giving this shapath that anyone who enters this line will get burnt. That is the shapath. This is called shapath. Shapath also means like you take some vows. So he says that this is, I am shapatha arpita, I am putting this shapatha that if your interest is not Krishna bhajanaik abhilashavan, then don't come to this. So this is a very important statement he makes. Yes.
Babaji, what word is being translated as study here?
Drishyatam. Drish means to see, right? Seeing also means knowing. It's also used in the sense, that's why we have darshan. Darshan is called philosophy, right? Means knowledge.
In the Bhagavatam, we hear in a few places that I can remember at least, like in the second canto, that by hearing the Bhagavatam, your the way it's translated from the one I read is your polluted aim of life will be changed, so you'll get on the right track. Is this also saying that, or is this saying more like you gotta at least want to be on the right track before you start?
Well, although from the verse it looks like that you have to have the desire to begin with, but that will also happen. What he is saying is that you should not just study it because you want to do some research work and you have no interest. Means you have already decided that I don't want to be devotee. So he says then there is no point in studying this. Don't waste your time. Because it is also very rare to find people who will have only Krishna bhajanaik abhilashavan. Right? So how do you come to that stage? So actually Krishna also makes statement like this in Bhagavad Gita. Idam tune na tapaskaya, right? Na bhaktayascha kadachan, na cha susushay vachyam, na cha mamiyo bhisuyate. That don't give this knowledge to somebody who is atapaska, who doesn't want to perform any austerity, which is quite common these days. Because if you are not austere, it is difficult to gain this kind of knowledge. It's not that you can eat chocolate and also listen to Bhagavatam. Yeah, I mean, class is going on and you are eating. So where will be your vritti, Prabhu, Yoga Sutra? If you are listening, because mind is only one, and you are eating chocolate, so mind will go to chocolate or to the Bhagavatam. Where is the raga? So mind will naturally think more of the chocolate. So you have to at least have that much austerity. That while studying you have to give up other sense actions so that you can focus only on that. That is the meaning of tapasya. What is the meaning of tapasya? Basically, pratyahar. Controlling your senses and fixing on something, that is what tapasya means. But that creates heat. So that's why Krishna says that don't give it to a guy who is not interested in tapas and who is not a devotee. So something similar he is saying. And then he prays to his teachers. So earlier he remembered Sri Rupa and Sanatana, and that was from the point of view that why he is writing means he has been asked to do that. And now he specifically prays to them. Athanatva mantra gurun bhagavatarthadan Shri Bhagavata Sandarbham Vasmi Lekhitum. So he says that after bowing down to my mantra guru, means Diksha Guru, and Guru from whom he has got the meaning of Bhagavata, I wish to write this Bhagavat Sandarbha. So at least this name is given by him. Because earlier he says Tasya Adyam Granthana Lekham, that his work of Gopal Bhatta. He didn't say that he wrote Sandarbha. So this name is given by him. And the name given by him is Bhagavata Sandarbha. So Bhagavata refers here to Srimad Bhagavatam because it is based on, it's basically a explanation of Srimad Bhagavatam. It explains the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore he calls it Bhagavat Sandarbha. So Sandarbha means actually like an essay, but Baldev Vidya Bhushan in his commentary he writes one sloka, I don't know from where, he says Gudharthasya prakasasya sarokti shreshthata tatha. So Vedyatyam nanarthvatvam Vedyatvam Sandarbham kathyate budhai. So he says that a Sandarbha is that which brings out the deep meaning or hidden meaning. Gudharthasya prakashasya. So what is the hidden meaning or the deep meaning of Bhagavatam? Because there are commentaries on Bhagavatam written by Advaita Vedantis also. And they give also explanation and try to show that Bhagavatam is actually talking about Brahman. Vastu adityam tannishtam. So it's talking about Vastu aditya. Kavalya ek prayojanam. Its prayojan is, because Bhagavatam says prayojan is Kavalya. Kavalya is a very popular word in Advaita Vedanta for liberation. So, Brahmatmaikatva Lakshanam. Actually, if you read that verse, it looks like that Bhagavatam is about Advaita Vedanta. Vastu adityam tannishtam Brahmatmaikatva Lakshanam. That it talks about oneness between Brahman and Atma. So there are many commentaries from Advaita point of view written on Bhagavatam. So what is that the real meaning of Bhagavatam? So that he brings out, therefore Gudha Arthasya Prakashasya. So to illuminate, to disclose the confidential meaning of Bhagavatam, that is the meaning of Bhagavat Sandarbha. And Sarokti Sreshtha Tata, giving its essence and the superiority, Nanarthvatvam, various meanings, and Vedyatvam, and the subject matter. So that is called Sandarbha. So we will see that how this definition of Sandarbha applies to Bhagavat Sandarbha. So Mantra Gurun Bhagavat Arthadan, mantra, he does not mention who is his Mantra Guru, but it is understood that he took Diksha from Sri Rupa Gosvāmī. And Bhagavat Arthada Gurus he also studied from them, from Rupa Gosvāmī, Sanatana Goswami, also Gopal Bhatta. Since he is using his book, Sridhar Swami, he was a great help for them. So those are the Bhagavad Arthadan Gurun. So mantra gurum, there is a plural. In Sanskrit, plural is also used out of respect. Otherwise it looks like that he took diksha from many gurus. So here he remembers them. And now the last verse of his Mangalacharan. So in this verse, one verse he gives the essence of everything, what is going to come here, and all this sambandha, vidheya, prayojana, adhikari, everything is described very clearly in this verse. But there is, in the Sanskrit verse, there is a mistake. I'm sorry to say this. Proofreaders. Second line says pumangascha. What is this ga? From where this ga has come? Yasya brahmeti sangya kvachidapi nigame yati chinmatra satta apyanso yasyansa kaisvair vibhavati vasyanneva mayam pumanscha. It should be pumanscha, not pumaganscha. Ekam yasyaiva rupam vilasti param vyomani narayana-akhyam sa Shri Krishno vidhattam Svayam Bhagavān prema tatpada bhajam. So it's very beautiful verse which he composes here, and all the sambandha, vidheya, prayojana, everything, and Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, all that is contained here. Also in the first line, this chinmatra satta, this in Sanskrit it should stop there only. Yasya brahmeti sangyam kochidapi nigme yati chinmatra satta. And this pya should go to the next line. Pyanso yasyansa kaisvair vibhavati vashyan neva mayam pumanscha. So what is the sandhi in pumanscha? There is an N and then?
From anuswara and then you put sha before the sha before the cha.
So the sha is not there to begin with. The word is puman cha. So when na is followed by cha, then na changes into anuswar and along with sha, palatal. So it becomes pumanscha. So in one feature, Sri Krishna exists as pure consciousness without any manifest characteristic and is referred to as Brahman in some portions of the Vedas. In another feature, he expands as the Purusha who regulates the extrinsic potency Maya by his many plenary portions. In yet another of his principal forms, he is Narayana, resplendent in the spiritual sky, Vaikuntha. May that Sri Krishna, the original, complete, absolute truth, Svayam Bhagavān, bestow love for himself on those who worship his lotus feet in this world. So very nice verse. So this idea that Paramatma and Bhagavan have some difference, this I have never heard anywhere else. This is only Jīva Gosvāmī who makes it so clear that Paramatma is not Bhagavan. And of course Brahman is not Bhagavan, that many Vaishnavas know that. So he makes four things here. That there is Brahman, there is Paramatma, and then there is Narayana, the source, and then beyond that is Krishna, who is Svayam Bhagavan. So he has spoken about Svayam Bhagavān Krishna, then he has spoken about Vaikuṇṭhanath, that there are many Vaikunthas, and above that is Krishna, and then in the material world there is Paramatma, and Brahman is everywhere. So all that he has described. And he says that this is found all in the scriptures. Because he says, Yasya brahmeti sangyam kvachidapi nigame yati chinmatra satta. That in some parts of the Vedas, nigama is Veda. Agama and nigama. So the word nigama is used for the Veda. And agama is used for the tantras. So his sangya, just like in Bhagavatam it is said, Vadanti tat tattvidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. That they are having these three shabdas. It is advaya gyan, there is only one reality, but these are three shabdas, three words used for that, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. So he is saying therefore same thing here, Yasya brahmeti sangyam, that it is he only. Yasya is relative pronoun, it refers to Krishna who comes later on. Because in ya and yat and tat, they have samvaya sambandha. Okay? You learned from our Sanskrit Acharya? So yat and tat, they go together. And what is the relation between them? It is called samvaya sambandha, Nyaya language. Right? You cannot have just yat without tat. Just like you cannot have simply adhara and there is no adheya. So whenever there is adhara, there is adheya. If there is a yat, there is tat. If there is tat, there has to be yat. So when you say that which, then they have to say someone else along with it. So here it is, only thing is that the vibhakti can be different. It is not that if it is yat, the other one also has to be tat. If it is yasya, that has to be tasya. That is not necessary. So he says yasya. So yasya means of whom. And then it is not said of whom. Who is that? So that is in the last line. It says Sa Sri Krishna vidhattam Swayam Bhagavān prema tat pada bhajam. So that Sa has to go along with Yasya. So that Krishna, of whom there is one name called Brahman. It is Krishna only who has one sangya, one name, one appellation called Brahman. So it is not that Brahman is Krishna. That is the significance. It is Krishna who is Brahman. So that is why he says Yasya. Yasya brahmeti sangyam kochidapi nigme yati chinmatra satta. So it is Krishna who has his one feature, one manifestation as Brahman. So Brahman is Krishna without his characteristics manifest. So he says Chinmatra Satta. Chit means just consciousness. Means there are no other characteristics which are manifest in Brahman. So when Krishna without any manifest quality is perceived, that is called Brahman. So sometimes this description is found in the Upanishads. And anso yasya ansakai svair vibhavati vashyan eva mayam pumans. And then his some ansha, some part, he is called pumāṇ. So what is the meaning of the word pumāṇ? Puman is same as Purusha. The word Purusha is commonly understood like in Sankhya and Yoga philosophy, Prakriti and Purusha. So Pumana has the same meaning. Person, Purusha. So he says that Vashyan eva mayam pumansha. So he is also called, now that the word Sangya is not said it here again. That has to be carried over from the previous line. This is called in Sanskrit adhyahara. When something is said once and then you have to use it few times, it is not repeated. So he says, Yasya brahmeti sangyam kochidapi nigme yati. So sangyam yati has to apply here also. Sangyam mayam vashyaneva puman sangyam yati. That he is another part of Krishna. He takes the sangya, the name of Purusha. And what is the function of Purusha? Mayam Vashyan, that he is the controller of Maya. So this is the Paramatma aspect. Because Paramatma is the controller, regulator of Maya. And Ekam Yasyaiva Rupam Vilasati Param Vyomani Narayanaki. And one of his form also exists in Paravyoma, in Vaikuntha. It's called Narayana. So that is Svayam Bhagavān. That is Krishna Svayam Bhagavān, who has all these aspects. So he gives his blessing that may that Krishna bestow his prema to those who worship his feet.
You mentioned how this is Jīva Gosvāmī, more than anyone else, pretty much distinguished between Paramatma and Bhagavan. Is this teaching about how there's many Vaikuntha planets, is that also kind of unique, or is that more perfect?
Yeah, that is also unique.
It's in the Bhagavata.
Yeah.
It's not unique to Jīva.
No, even this Paramatma thing is, you will see it in Bhagavatam. But these are things which are extracted and made clear. Otherwise we read it and we don't get it that way. So I will stop here. Unless you have any question, yes.
This convention about not mentioning the name of your Guru Maharaj, and I know how Maharaj mentioned something in Guru Darshana. Obviously that has something to do with humility and respect, but what exactly is the reason behind not mentioning the name of one's Guru? I mean, avoiding it unnecessarily. There's some kind of a convention there. And we say the Jīva mentioning Bhata, and he's not actually mentioning the full name. Is there some kind of a protocol?
Yeah, protocol is there. Of course, there are statements in Shastra itself that one should not reveal one's Guru, one's mantra, one's mala. These things are to be kept secret, or one's bhajan paddhati.
Because of pride?
Yes, two reasons. One is that either you become proud and things like that, or other may start looking down at you because they want to criticize you or your Guru. So then it happens also.
Can you please elaborate on the relationship of Narayana with Bhagavan and Purusha? I don't recall this from Bhagavata Sandarbha. You must have forgotten.
Well, Narayana is expansion of Krishna. And then from Narayana come Mahavishnu, who is the Mahapurusha. And then from him come other Garbhodakshaya, Kshirodakshaya, Vishnu. So Narayana is the source for them, for the Purushas here. It's described in Paramatma Sandarbha, also in Bhagavata Sandarbha.
So Narayana is always in Paravyoma, and Vishnu is always in Mahātma.
Sometimes Mahavishnu is also called Narayana. Narayana, the word is used both, because Narayana also means one who lies down in the water.
As we read in the 7th verse that Jīva Gosvāmī wrote this book after hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and the teachings of it. But for us, is it better to first study the Sandarbhas completely, or also take a little look at Bhagavatam, or just wait patiently and first understand the background?
You can study both simultaneously. Anyway, when you study this, you need to know what is happening there, because he's quoting all the time. So if you have some knowledge, it will be helpful. But he's going to reveal, as he said, what is the real meaning behind the stories and what is the message being conveyed. Otherwise, if you don't know anything about Bhagavatam, it will be difficult to understand. Because you have to know the context. You have to know who is Shaunaka, who is Sut Goswami, what is the storyline. So that is helpful.
A few days ago in the Nyaya class, you said about the Nirupaka and Nirupya Sambandha. Is that why Yasya Pramiti is important rather than the other way around?
Which one?
Yes, in the beginning it says, who is pramāṇan rather than the other way around. Is that why he did Yasya at the beginning for the same logic that you gave in the
No, I don't think so. That is just, that's how they compose slokas in Sanskrit. That the main subject and the verb comes in the end. So they will keep on speaking about this, and what they are speaking about, that comes. Like in Bhagavatam, Satyam Param Dhimai, Janma Adashriyata, from whom comes this, all this, on that we meditate. So it's just a style. Okay, yes.
Going back to the second anu, in your commentary, you mentioned that Sri Chaitanya's teachings are not limited to a particular sect or nationality. And we get this idea that the whole point is Sankirtan. So I was hoping you could expound upon this, because this seems to say that if one is absorbed in the Sankirtan, that this transcends cultural norms and time, place, and circumstance of cultural norms, let's call them, and even other sampradayas, as long as one is completely absorbed in Krishna. Is this?
So the thing is that this dharma which is being described here, it is called Parama Dharma. This is the dharma of the soul, the Atma. And Atma is beyond any culture norms. Because culture is related with the society. So you live in a particular society, you wear jeans, or you wear skirt, or you wear sari. This is culture. But this is speaking something above that. So that is one meaning. Another meaning is that this Sankirtan or this bhakti is not dependent whether you are born in Varnashram or you are not born in Varnashram. Because Karma Marg and Gyan Marg, they are very much, traditional Karma Marg and traditional Gyan Marg, they are related to Varnashram. But bhakti does not have that requirement, that you are born in this particular society or this culture or not. So that is the meaning, that it is beyond that. So when you live in a particular society, obviously you have to follow some cultural norms. Right? But this is not related with that, truly speaking. That is another thing, that this also has some relationship with some culture. And some culture may facilitate practice of this. But ultimately it is beyond anything like that. So that is the meaning of Paramadharma. Because it transcends the mind-body complex. But to come to that level, that is the problem. To come to that level, you have to follow something. Because to reach there you need some ladder. So then you have to follow some culture. Because it's not that we just immediately jump out of the bodily platform. And even when you jump out, still you have to function within the body. So the main idea is that it is not restricted to a particular culture. That is not the requirement for one to participate in it.